Hello, beautiful people. Today is 5th of July. My name is Sahil, and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today we'll take a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who's one of the most prominent civil rights activists of US. He says, non-violence means avoiding not only external physical violence, but also internal violence of spirit. You not only refuses to shoot a man, but you refuses to hate him. Friends, to explain this, I would use Gandhiji. Gandhiji says that your thoughts become your speech and your speech becomes your action. So, until the mental hatredness or the mental agony is deprived, the physical violence cannot go away. So, guys, this quote becomes very much importance into the preservation of peace and can be used into the questions of GS paper number 4, GS paper number 2, as well as topics of essay. Now, friends, coming to the main question that I gave you yesterday, it says that it is important to see women as equal partner into the task of transforming the rural economy. Comment. Also analyze the pattern of women participation and challenges posed by them. Now, guys, in intro, we can start by the women labor force participation rate of India. And according to the World Bank, India has the women labor force participation rate of 23.4%, and Economic Survey places it's around 25%. Now, it is substantially lower when we compare the data with the OECD countries. And guys, even according to the former IMF chief Christian Lagarde, if the women labor force participation rate is increased up to the level of men, then the GDP growth can rise by 27%. So, guys, in order to bring the growth into urban as well as into the rural economy, increasing the participation of women is very much crucial. Now, talking about the rural economy, now, guys, into the wake of lopsided urbanization, we need to bring our focus onto the regional rural development, and therefore women are to be taken help of in boosting the rural economy. Now, guys, into the rural areas, the MSMEs, industrial clusters, organic food processing industries, and all these kind of things can be established where women can be absorbed. However, there are own challenges with respect to the women participation. Number one, right now simply there are no avenues where women can be enrobed, and in that particular way there is only agriculture where they are utilized, and because of this, India is also facing the problem of feminization of agriculture. Secondly, guys, women are the primary caregivers, and therefore their mobility and their skill set is very much restricted because their primary allegiance is to their household. Thirdly, due to the patriarchal notion and mindset, women are not preferred, and it is seen that their pregnancy and household responsibilities will be a burden into their professionalism. Then, fourthly, even if the women are employed, they are paid the less wages, and even due to the glass ceiling attitude, their further enrollment and leadership role is discouraged. So, guys, all these things make a cocktail which poses the great challenge, and women participation rate happens to be low. So, guys, this is a thinking line on which we can write our answer, and into the way forward, you can provide what could be the innovative measures that all these things could be tamed. So, guys, that's all. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, first, let's take up the overview of the entire paper first. So, guys, the special representative level talks will be started onto the LSE sector. Then, guys, here the ICMR and the vaccine deadline issue has been mentioned. And yesterday we had seen that what could be the ethical, technical implications in this thing. So now, guys, the ICMR has given a clarification that they only meant to lower down the bureaucracy and red tapeism. Now, guys, today there are not much relevant news, and into the regional page only the regional news, COVID, and political things have been mentioned, which is not important for our exam. Then, guys, directly onto the page number 7, we can see the China and Pakistan are coming closer into the aftermath of LEC dispute. So we'll see what are the implications. Then again, much important news have not been there. Guys, the infant mortality rate has been mentioned. So we'll see the implications. Then after that, USA is taking certain steps into the South China Sea. So we'll say that what are the implications. Then, guys, onto the business page also, the corporate news are there, which is not important for our exam. And now the highlight of today, that is the science and tech. So, guys, the first is about the meta-analysis into the point of care serological test. So we'll see this thing. Then RNA detecting by the Raman spectroscopy. So we'll see the uses here. Then, guys, converting written text into the speech. We'll see how into the online education it could be usable. Then, guys, the sponge like ancestor of the humans have been identified. So, very briefly, we need to see only the relevant parts here. Then, guys, this particular article is not important for the exam as it is a core biology which is not usable for the UPSC. Then, on to the next page, the G4 issue has been mentioned. So, we will see this thing. Then, guys, here you can see the Chinese app ban and the railway privatization. However, moving forward, so then there's a sports page and there is nothing important for the exam. So guys, that's it. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, starting up, friends, here we have clubbed the issues related to India, China, Pakistan, and we'll see holistically that what is happening. Guys, into the last few days, we had traced the entire LAC issue and we had seen the historical linkages, the agreements, how the issue developed, the present conflict points, what could be the implications on India, why China is doing such actions, what are the China's insecurities, what could be the way forward, and all such kind of things. Now, guys, as we know that the Prime Minister has visited the Ladakh, now another round of talks between India and China is to be held in order to restore the status quo, and the talks will be starting up soon. And now the special representative level talks will be held, and the India's special representative will be Mr. Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor. So that is to be seen as how the issue will unfold. However, guys, onto the sidelines, there are certain other developments between the China and Pakistan going on. And in this context, the blame game diplomacy is being played by both China as well as Pakistan, as both the countries are holding India responsible for all the tensions that are going into the Ladakh center. Moreover, India has been called as expansionist and the responsible for violations into the ceasefire agreements. So, guys, this particular thing is nothing but an example of a coalitive warmongering where allies come together in an act of combinedly threatening the third country, which happens to be India. And in this context, there comes an issue or a possibility of a two front war for India, where there will be Pakistan on one hand and China on the other hand. Guys, this kind of possibility we had seen in one of the editorial that earlier also emerged in 1971 when India was fighting for the Bangladesh's liberation. At that point of time, India signed the Treaty of Friendship with the USSR, Soviet Russia, and because of that treaty of friendship, China was deterred to not to come into the war. So, guys, right now also India needs to constructively explore the diplomatic options which India has. So right now the diplomatic options are into the form of the Quad grouping as well as support from the USA, because USA sees China as a possible threat, and as a part of China's containment USA will be coming with the India. However, this entire episode is not good for the regional peace as well as stability. Moreover, guys, we had seen that the 21st century is said to be the Asian century. However, if Asia truly needs to reclaim that title, then it needs to be characterized by cooperation and not by the conflict. Now, guys, into these series of developments, one important issue happens to be the China Pakistan economic corridor, and into these talks also the CPEC was mentioned. Now, guys, Pakistan is very steadfast to protect the CPEC, and the insecurities on this particular project also happens to be a reason for the clash into the Ladakh sector. Now, guys, the China Pakistan economic corridor is a project worth $65 billion to be approximate, where the multi-developmental projects throughout Pakistan will be built by the Chinese finances. Now, guys, early this is the CPEC is the major plank into the Belt and Road Initiative, which is a pet project of China. Now, guys, you can see that the CPEC, it starts from the Kashgar in China and goes up to the Gwadar into the Pakistan. So, guys, here the pipelines, roadways, railways, infrastructure, special economic zone, everything will be developed. Now, if you see the map, then, guys, the China Pakistan economic corridor passes from the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and it is a disputed territory. And if India allows the CPEC, it means that India is giving up all the claims into the POK region. Therefore, India is not happy with the CPEC. And now, guys, the investment here is so much that both the countries are concerned by the India's reservations. Therefore, joint action is being mandated. Now, guys, Pakistan is very much inclined towards this project as it will be bringing much economic benefit for the entire Pakistani economy. Moreover, guys, China is also very much inclined because here into the world map, if we see, then guys, China is right now dependent onto the Malacca Straits to move their consignments towards the Africa, Middle East, as well as Europe. Now, guys, there is a threat that into the South China Sea there are so many disputes going on. Moreover, guys, USA is particularly tensed about the China's growing hegemony into the South China Sea and into the Pacific. So, guys, therefore, USA also wants to stake the control into this entire region. And guys, if we take the today's news article from the Hindu only, then we can see that USA had moved two aircraft carriers to the South China Sea also, because right now China is conducting a military exercise into this particular region. So, guys, China wants to develop the hegemony, USA wants to control it, and China had understood this entire pattern. So, therefore, CPEC is a master plan of China where China will totally avoid the South China Sea, the Malacca Straits, the Indian Ocean, and will explore the transit via the land territory, and it will be utilizing the section of the CPEC where the goods will reach to the Gwadar, and from Gwadar they can reach to the Africa via the Suez, they can go to the Europe and towards the further transit. So, guys, both countries have their own stakes onto the CPEC, and for that, the region of Pakistan occupied Kashmir is very much crucial. And in this backdrop, all these meets, negotiations, cooperations, statements are going on. So, guys, I hope holistically now you can catch a glimpse that what actually is happening. So that's all, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the bad IMR or infant mortality rate which is observed into some states. Now, guys, let's go into the background. First of all, infant mortality rate is the number of infants dying per 1,000 live births. And to check the IMR, the sample registration survey was conducted in 2018 and its report has been released now. And according to the SRS report, the state of Madhya Pradesh has the highest IMR at 48 per 1000 live births. Moreover, guys, the India's IMR stands at 32, which is just a marginal improvement from 2017. Now, guys, what could be the reasons for such a high number of deaths? It is because of the premature deliveries which are being conducted, common infections, birth related diseases, delays in securing the treatment, which leads to the complications, and the number of less institutional delivery also plays an important role here. Though, guys, in that particular direction, Pradhan Mantri Matritva Sahyog Yojana, etc. schemes are also going on, but they have not shown the impact as we can see by the growing number of IMR rate. Now, even IMR for Pan India is also not acceptable because under the Sustainable Developmental Goal targets, India has to achieve the IMR rate of 8 by 2020, and clearly 32 is much higher than it. Therefore, substantial steps are needed to be taken. For example, guys, antenatal and postnatal care are to be given to the mother. Antenatal means before delivery, and postnatal means after delivery. Moreover, there is the problem of a premature delivery of and the low birth of the babies. So, guys, there should be the proper spacing between the subsequent birth of a child. Therefore, the reproductive health education is needed to be given into the women, and they also needs to be told about the basic pregnancy care and all such kind of things. Then, guys, the death of the child is also associated with the poor health of the mother. Therefore, the malnutrition problem into the mothers also needs to be seen. And on to the third level, we rampantly need to scale up the primary healthcare infrastructure into the rural areas so that more institutional deliveries can be availed. So, guys, this happens to be a major social issue, and guys, these are the updated data with respect to the IMR. You can use it. And when we talk about the sample registration system survey, then it is released by the Office of the Registrar General of India. Though guys, into the article much data for the rural areas and urban areas for the MP has been given, which is not important for our exam. So guys, these are all the associated issues. Now, guys, we are into the science and tech section, and the first article talks about the point of care serological test. Now, guys, in this particular article, it is being said that they are not reliable enough to note down the pattern into the COVID 19. Moreover, in order to give the immunity certificate to the people. Now, guys, we'll see this entire issue. See, right now, for the COVID 19, we are doing the mass testing of the people, and into these mass testing we use a serological test. So serological test is any test which is taking the fluids from your body, and most notably the blood sample is taken, but other specimens can also be taken. Now guys, the serological test, they could be common blood test in which the antibodies into your blood will be checked if they have developed or not. Or guys, there is one more popular way of serological test, that is the ELISA test, which stands for the enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Now guys, ELISA tests are conducted for large number of diseases and is also being conducted for the COVID-19. So here into the ELISA test, the blood sample will be taken. Now guys, this blood sample will placed on a plate, and on that plate there will be the antigen coated linings. Antigen means the immobile or inactive version of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Now when the blood sample will be poured onto this plate, so guys, your blood might be having the antibodies of COVID-19 if you are infected with the COVID-19. So guys, there is always a relation of iron and magnet between the antibody and the antigen. So the moment antibody will come in contact with the antigen, it will bind here. And guys, these linings along with the antigen, they will also be coated with certain inking elements such as nano gold, etc. So guys, the moment it will attach here, the color of this particular lining will change, and by seeing that particular color we can check whether a person is positive or negative. Positive means that he has the antibodies, he was infected, and in this way we certify. Guys, two more things I want to tell you. See, as I have shown you that there are two linings, so they could be for the identification of different type of antibodies. Usually there are two type of antibodies. One are called as IgG and other are the IgM. So guys, though IgG antibodies are developed into the later stages, whereas IgM is developed into the early stages. So if a person is having only the IgM, it means that he is just now infected, and this is the primary stage. However, if he has the IgG, it means that much earlier he was infected and now he is into the later stages. And one more information, guys, I have told you that these plates are lined with the antigen, but it is not always the case. Sometimes they are also lined with the antibody. Now, guys, I have told you that the relation is of an iron or magnet. So, guys, anyhow the attachment will be there. If they will be having the antibodies and your blood is having the antigen, then also it will attach. So guys, there could be both the ways on which this could work. However, the principle will be the same. Now, guys, coming back again to this article, so it has been said that onto the basis of these serological tests, people are being given the immunity certificates, which essentially means that a person has been infected and now he is essentially immune to that particular kind of virus and will not be spreading this particular virus. However, guys, it has been said that it could be a miscalculation, because into the ELISA test also there are many a times certain miscalculations, errors, specificity is not 100%. And if large number of people, crores of people are being tested, and if there is even a 98% specificity, then it means that 2 lakh people have been given the false negative or false positive. So these tests should not be used as a gold standard. So guys, that's it about this particular article, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here we can see that the RNA detection of virus can be done in saliva by using the Raman spectroscopy. Now, before going into the article, let's have a look on certain basics. See, guys, you might have heard about the Raman effect, which was given by the great C.V. Raman. Now, into the most simplest term, it means that when an incident light is thrown onto the tissue, then it excites the molecules and the molecules reflect back the light. And now here the Raman spectroscopy comes in place. So Raman spectroscopy studies the wavelength of the reflectant light, and by seeing that wavelength we can see the characteristics of a molecule, its structure. We can discriminate between different chemical elements such as cholesterol, collagen, elastin. All these kind of things can be studied. Therefore it has huge applications as well as uses. And guys, now the spectroscopy, Raman spectroscopy, has been utilized in detecting the RNA virus into the saliva. So here it has been said that if we take the sample of a saliva, then it has the large load of the RNA virus, and by analyzing the saliva through spectroscopy, we can see the prevalence of the RNA virus. So guys, it has one benefit as well as one limitation. The benefit is that it is very fast, and guys, right now the screening tool that we are having for the COVID-19 is the rapid antibody test, which gives the result within 15 to 30 minutes. But guys, the Raman spectroscopy can even be faster than that. But there is one the limitation also, and the limitation is that it can only tell whether the RNA of a RNA virus is there or not, but can't tell which type of RNA virus is there. It could be RNA of the HIV, it could be a common cold, or it could be a COVID-19. So once it has been located, it needs to be further confirmed by the RT-PCR test. But guys, their portability and usability is even more further, because two things are also being developed, that is a tool and an app. So guys, into the tool the sample could be taken, and onto the basis of the details that has been generated by the sample, the app can analyze and can send you the result whether a person is having the RNA virus or not. So guys, into the screening this particular thing, the Raman spectroscopy based test can have the much implication. So guys, that's all about this particular thing. We don't need to go as what is the specificity, what is the sample size, and all these kind of things. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, this particular article could be used as an excellent case study or as an example into the online education. So, what is happening? The IIT Madras is making a technology which can convert the written text into the synthesized speech. Moreover, not only the conversion will be in English, rather the conversion will be into the 13 Indian languages. Now, friends, the issue is that English spoken overseas and English spoken in India is widely different. Moreover, with the different languages, the way of English speaking is also changing. For example, the way in which a person of Delhi speaks the English is different from the way in which a person from Tamil Nadu is speaking the English. So guys, that those adjustments are also needed to be made in order to make it more naturalized. So on all these fronts, the IIT Madras is working with the help of the algorithms, sound experts, and all such associated personals. Now, guys, as a part of a Swayam massive online open courses NPTEL, large number of education material is to be provided online, and we have large number of text which needs a conversion into the speech or into the audio format. So this particular technology will be helping here and will help online education to be more user friendly and to be more absorbable. So it is an excellent example as how by using the technology the day to day life can be made much more easy. So that's about this, and now we'll move to next. Now guys, this particular article talks about that how a simple single like cell structure metamorphed into the human beings and other animal forms. So guys, it traces the lineage of the living creatures from a organism. Now these type of articles are too much hardcore onto one aspect, that could be biology, chemistry, or physics. But guys, to be very frank, these type of things are not that much usable for our exam, until and unless if it is a very very major development. These kind of questions don't come. So I will forbid you that if any such kind of thing comes, just take an overview and avoid unnecessary details for the sake of exam. Now guys, it has been said that when the earth was formed at that point of time, the environment was concentrated with the methane, and there was very less oxygen or simply no oxygen to support the animal life. Now guys, at this point of time, there are several microorganisms which are consuming the sunlight that was coming, and into the process, as a waste, they generated the oxygen, and by this particular oxygen the life form developed into the upcoming times. Now guys, there was a period when the concentration of oxygen increased, and this period is called as the great oxidation. Last Sunday also we had seen. Now guys, great oxidation was a point when the earlier life species got extinct and the new life species came. So guys, it is the life for us and the death for the ancient species. And here, the Chino or the canoflogellates are being talked about, which emerged after the Great Oxidation. These are the single celled organisms, and they are being believed to be the ancestors of the modern animal life, including the human beings. So guys, it is being seen as how from there the evolution has started and has diversified into the different directions. So guys, this is a study which has been published into the USA. However, being a study, it needs to be further peer reviewed and testified. So guys, that's all relevant thing for our exam, and now we'll move to next. Guys, this particular article talks about the recent G4 pathogen which has been identified in China. Now guys, pigs are the reservoir of large number of viruses and their different type of mutations. So in this direction, the National Academy of Science USA, now guys, they have studied one virus type, that is H1N1, and this virus is found into the pigs. Now guys, one of subtype of H1N1 or one of the strain of H1N1 has been called as G4, and this particular strain of virus have all the traits that it can impact the human lives, it can replicate into the human being, and through human to human transmission is also possible. So there could be a possibility that it can be a cause of next pandemic. Guys, to confirm the G4, the test of the workers working into the pig farms were carried, and a large number of workers are also found infected by the G4, but they don't have any sign of the illness. So guys, so far it has been shown that though it has the trait for the transmission, but it is not having a threat to the human life with respect to the disease and all these kind of things. So right now it is silent, but guys, there is no room for complacency, and vigilance also needs to be actively made, so that into the times to come there is no further mutation into that virus and it may become deadly for the human lives. Now guys, there are large number of reports going on to the media that the next pandemic is coming or these kind of things, but right now this is not the point for worry. But the World Health Organization says that from now onwards we need to keep a better observation onto the zoonotic diseases, because the present COVID-19 has the origin from the zoonotic only. Thus it should ring the alarm bells. Now, friends, this particular G4 has been identified by the Pandemic Risk Surveillance of USA. So, in that particular direction, all the developed countries should also employ their pandemic risk surveillance teams or organization, so that from time to time the surveillance onto these kind of things could be kept. So, friends, that's all about this, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, on to the FAQ. There is one article for the railway privatization and one for the Chinese app ban. However, both the issues we have discussed much extensively into the series of articles into the paper itself. And on to railway privatization, even I have gave you the question into the test number 4 of hand holding program. So if you have attended, they are also into the discussion. I had discussed it much more extensively. So we'll not be wasting our time onto the repetition, and now we'll go to the question section. Friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So first question is with respect to the Nagarhole National Park. Please identify the right statement. Question number 2 is with respect to the Tiva community which we had seen into the news. So guys, please identify the correct code. Question number 3 is with respect to the Johannesburg Declaration. So guys, please identify the correct code. Question number 4 is with respect to the administration of tribal areas under the 6th schedule. So guys, please read the statement and identify the correct code. So friends, that's all about today's MCQ questions, and as today's Sunday will not be having the mains question. So friends, that's it. I hope you are liking our effort. Thank you so much.